doing today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Star Wars fans from across the galaxy? Oh boy, it is getting interesting out there. The rumor mill is going wild. Of course, everybody's probably very well aware that the new Disney Star Wars series, The Acolyte, has just premiered on Disney Plus, and everybody's going nuts out there over it, going one way or the other, depending on how you fall on things, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're a fan of Disney Star Wars or whether you're a critic and critical of pretty much everything that the Hollywood puts out these days. A lot of people are talking about it. You cannot deny that in any way, shape, or form. And of course, that leads credence to the rumor mill running wild as well. And ladies and gentlemen, another reliable source that has proven time and time again correct is none other than our dear sweet WDW Pro, whose inside sources have a very, very accurate track rating of somewhere between the 95 to 98% with their rumors, which once again, with a record like that, is exactly why we trust, we report, and we talk about these kind of things, because more often than not, this stuff turns out to be true. And even though you might not want to believe some of the worst and most outrageous rumors out there, sad to say that history has shown us a lot of the time this stuff ends up being completely and totally accurate. And ladies and gentlemen, if we have any belief and trust whatsoever in our dear sweet friend Chris Gore, shout out to Frank over there at Film Threat, this is probably exactly spot on and completely going to line up with exactly what we think is going to happen and what has been speculated about Disney Star Wars for quite a while, because the joke has been out there for a while. Kathleen Kennedy even wore the t-shirt talking about the Force is female. Now, obviously, this was something that they were trying to push as far as putting a lot more females in the front and center lead roles for Disney Star Wars. Now, whether you agree or disagree with this is completely and totally up to you, but I think the results speak for themselves, ladies and gentlemen. In a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi, who ended up taking a back seat to little bitty Princess Leia, and of course, the failed, miserable none other than the bad guy in the series, the female turned out to be, was actually supposed to be a Sith, but not a Sith, but it was basically just being another one of Darth Vader's little acolytes out there, and was nothing more than somebody who could literally take a lightsaber to the stomach, even though it literally took out Qui-Gon Jinn, one of the strongest, most powerful Jedi Masters in history out there. Yes, Disney Star Wars has become an abysmal shell of what itself was, and the ratings and the numbers absolutely prove that, ladies and gentlemen. You can actually prove nowadays that the Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Palpatine movie out there, actually lost money. We have the documentation to prove that now, and all you have to do is look at the ratings that have been going on in the continued downward spiral, that whether or not you agree with putting a female-centric forward to the world of the Force and Star Wars, it's not going over very well with the fans, and Disney continues to lose money going down this path. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like with the Acolyte, with all of its agenda-filled and driven nonsense to sacrificing all of good storytelling for the sake of that, well, now the latest rumor says that new Disney Star Wars series, The Acolyte, to confirm the Force as literally female. Yes, the immutable power that connects all living forces, every living creature from tree to advanced species out there, ladies and gentlemen, is now going to be gendered, because everything has to be about their genitalia and what hangs between their legs, boys and girls, or doesn't, instead of being about good quality storytelling and respecting the lore. So this rumor, as always, take it with a pinch of salt, if you will, but as Lee said before, WDW Pro has a very good track record, so I'd go ahead and take this to the bank. If I was you, if I was a betting man, I'd put money on this. So we're going to check this article from Bounty Comics, getting into all of the juicy details of exactly what our dear sweet Pro has said. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, make sure you hit that like, share it with all your friends, subscribe, and or follow if you have not already. Leave us a comment down below if you're excited to hear that the fact that it is now finally confirmed inside of Disney Star Wars canon that yes, the Force is female, boys and girls. So from our dear sweet Spencer Bakuli, according to the latest whispers to echo out of the once beloved galaxy far, far away, the Acolyte will see the fundamental Star Wars concept of the Force, as in the non-tangible energy produced by every living being and wielded by the Jedi and the Sith throughout the entirety of the franchise, revealed as inherently female being. Yes, instead of being an energy force that guides us and that binds us all together, no, it's going to have a gender. And what do you want to bet? It's going to have an intent, an agenda, and that agenda is going to be female-centric. I'm just guessing. I haven't even read this article all the way through, boys and girls. This supposed plan for the Acolyte to further subvert Star Wars fans' expectations, as ostensibly cooked up by showrunner Leslie Headland, was first teased to the public by noted Disney scooper and media personality WDW Pro. Disclosure: the article author holds personal friendships and working relationships with WDW Pro. Glad to know. At least they're honest about that kind of thing, because that's something you'll never see from the legacy media, is them admitting that they get freebies and early access from all of these major corporations, and it's just one of the many reasons why they shill for all of them. At least Bounding Into Comics is honest. Relaying information provided to him by an alleged inside source via a video uploaded to his personal YouTube channel, the scooper detailed Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland are going to do something in the Acolyte that is going to essentially end what remaining fans they have. And that is they're literally going to change the Force itself into a being literally female, a gendered female Force. Notably, this development appears to provide context to previous tease by film threat critic Alan Ing, as made during a June 2nd live stream hosted by entertainment analyst Valiant Renegade, and based on his own view of the series' first 4 episodes, that the Force is legitimately female. This also lines up with what Chris Gore over at Film Threat also said, that literally we will see a lesbian birth scene that apparently is assisted by the Force in the 3rd episode. So boys and girls, aren't you excited for that? Apparently there's going to be a couple of lesbians that are going to have an immaculate conception via the Force. Yeah. Boy, doesn't this feel like Star Wars? It's all saved, boys and girls. Disney Star Wars is saved by the Acolyte. Seemingly hinting that this tease had something to do with the Acolyte supposedly franchise bearing 3rd episode, Ing, speaking from behind a Disney-backed non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, asserted, I'll just say this. Episode 3 fundamentally changes the future of Star Wars. Now, in terms of does it negate the originals and the prequels? Not necessarily. I think we're just going to be more upset with what we were presented and the knowledge that is in the direction Disney Star Wars is going to go from now on. And of course, this is a direction we knew that from the first times we heard the words uttered of the Force being female, about needing all of this representation and everything else in it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we knew this is the direction that they were coming on, and right from the start with Reva and all of the nonsense that happened surrounding the Obi-Wan show, it's very obvious what direction they were going, ladies and gentlemen, because an Obi-Wan series was not about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Should this rumor come to fruition, it will mark the first time in Disney Star Wars history that the first Force was depicted with either an actual gender or a physical form. Contrary to popular belief, midichlorians are not the Force incarnate, but rather a species-wide vessel through which the life force communicates with the universe. Exactly. It's a symbiote that helps us connect to the Force. It is not a physical manifestation of it. Further, this rumor coming true would establish the Force as but the second metaphysical energy concept to be canonized as feminine following its respective franchise purchased by Disney. As seen in Marvel Comics Thor, Volume 6, Number 20, in a breaking free of the Asgardian control and unleashing its true unmitigated power of the universe, the Golden Adventure's hammer, Mjolnir, reveals its true identity as a female lightning entity known as the God of Hammers. So color a shock. And as everybody knows, Marvel is now owned by Disney. In the words of Dr. Douche Fisher-Schmidt of Phineas and Ferb, if I had a nickel for every time Disney turned a main power source of a typically boy's property into a woman, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird, and that had happened twice. At current, the first episode of The Acolyte are now streaming on Disney+. In regards to the following episodes, the 3rd will premiere next week. So boys and girls, I trust WW Pro. He has a long track record of being very accurate and his scoops being right. But even if WW Pro didn't have the reliable track record that we know he has, if he didn't have that, and considering the current direction that we've seen, considering the current marketing that we've seen surrounding the Acolyte, about being all about their genitalia, about being all about who they sleep with, right? Would it surprise anybody that this would happen? Does this not line up perfectly with what we have seen time and time again with every property that Disney owns? Yeah, we had a good run with Marvel, but have you seen it lately? Have you seen why they call it the MCU? They've been doing this to Disney Star Wars since they bought it, ladies and gentlemen. I liked the character of Rey. I liked the character of Finn. Initially, I wanted to see Finn become a Jedi. I wanted to see what Rey would become. I wanted to see Rey and Kylo come together and balance out the Force. Instead, what we got was an overpowered Mary Sue with no reasonable explanation as to why she was so powerful other than a shoehorned nonsense entry literally ripped from the pages of the comic books from Star Wars itself. They have no original ideas whatsoever. The Force is female under Disney Star Wars. That has been Kathleen Kennedy's intent from the very beginning. And Leslie Headland, an obvious acolyte of the cult, will gladly push that forward as much as she possibly can and burn hundreds of millions of dollars more for the Walt Disney Company. Because yes, boys and girls, The Acolyte was filmed in the United Kingdom, which means we are going to get all of the tax receipts for this show. We will know exactly how much of a disastrous dumpster fire this show has been for the Walt Disney Company and the millions of dollars it has cost them. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a beautiful and glorious day, because I can already guarantee you, as of right now, that this show will be a miserable failure, further damage and destroy the Disney Star Wars brand, if there's anything left of it, and once again ostracize even more of the fan base, which will in turn cost the Walt Disney Company hundreds of millions of dollars in a time where they are already bleeding money left and right. So good job, Kathleen Kennedy. Good job, Bob Iger. Good job, Dave Filoni, you hack. Enjoy burning what is left of Disney Star Wars completely and totally down into the ground and costing the company you work for even more money. Disney Star Wars is dead. Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and now Leslie Headland have killed it. Good job, and enjoy being the king on the ash heap of the pile of dust that you have turned Disney Star Wars into.